Hey everybody, happy Global CE Day. Tom Judd from CED here with Mohamed Bera from South Africa. Good day, Mohamed.
Good day, everybody. Good day, Tom.
So tell us about your job in clinical engineering there in South Africa, Mohamed.
So currently I'm the procurement and engineering manager of a private hospital group. Part of my role is to procure medical devices and I also oversee the healthcare technology department, which maintain medical equipment in 11 of our hospitals across Southern Africa. So that's my job, and I'm the president of the Clinical Engineering Association, which is the clinical engineering group for South Africa, we have just over 1,000 members now. I think we just clocked over 1,003 in the last few weeks.
Very impressive.
So
wow.
KISA, as we call it, is made up of 4 regions, and each region is run by a chairman, and they run pre-COVID. We used to run meetings and development for our clinical engineers in each of those regions.
Well, what are some of KISA's plans, and what's it been like for many of the hospitals, in your KISA group?
Yeah, so it's been quite interesting from a COVID point of view. The real peak or the peaks we've seen in Europe didn't really arrive in Southern Africa. We built quite a bit of capacity in field hospitals. Government had a ventilation project where they built ventilators, we just didn't see the numbers that was expected. But many of the private hospitals, ICUs reached capacity during our short peak that we did have in South Africa. So we're hoping that we don't have a second wave. And I think we've done pretty well as a country to deal with the COVID pandemic. A project or two to note, KISA actually had a project where we looked and we repaired or ventilators that were taken out of service, and about 50 ventilators were put back into service that were previously stored as end of life. So yeah.
Well, Mohamed, I was delighted to meet with your KISA leadership team in recent weeks, and a lot of talented rising stars, those cats, and working with those great young folks. I know you have some so forth, but you've got that young group that's really trying to make a difference. What's that like?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I think the challenge of having a young group is that they're quite dynamic and ambitious to make a mark in the workplace, and sometimes it's a difficult thing for them to weigh up putting time in for doing voluntary work for an organization like KISA, but the energy and the willingness to contribute, I think tops that most of the time. So yeah, I'm excited to work with a group. I've been in this position for now almost 2 years, and I'll most probably hand over the baton to someone else towards the end of this year. So I'm excited to see how KISA goes from strength to strength. Yeah.
I don't think Kisa wants to let you go at the end of the year, so maybe we'll have to change that. But my last question is, what is your vision for the future of clinical engineering in South Africa?
So I think there's a few-pronged approach. One is, nationally, the big, I think it's a team internationally amongst clinical engineers is to get the peers in healthcare to recognize what they do. So it's about creating awareness amongst our peers in the healthcare space, to the Minister of Health, and we need to keep on doing what we're doing and improving on awareness around that. Secondly, we have only one real institution that trains clinical engineering, and another one that has quite a few, much less engineers in training. But we want to create a system where more clinical engineers are trained, and more of them move into the field of academia so they can train the next lot of clinical engineers. So we have very few academics in our space, and that creates a vacuum in our system. And then thirdly, I think the roles of clinical engineers is limited to hospital engineering, health technology management, consulting, and as technicians or in various equipment supplier companies, and we'd like I like that roles to expand, into health technology assessment and a few other roles that clinical engineers play in the healthcare space, that can make the career part more attractive, and hopefully through that process give the people, the clinical engineers of the country, the awareness or the recognition that they're looking for. And from an international point of view, we've made great strides in IFMB in the last few years, and with collaboration with people like the American College, we see those relationships being used to improve the clinical engineers in South Africa's exposure and marketability across the world. And then finally, our role in the African continent, and as I said earlier, with 1,000 members, I'm sure we got quite a bit of influence in Africa, and lots of work to be done to assist our neighbors to get clinical engineering programs running and maintaining and procuring the right equipment for our needs. Thanks, Tom.
So any final words around the world on Global CE Day?
Yeah, I think, I want to wish all the clinical engineers around the world happy CE Global Day. Yeah, I hope to see many of you in South Africa, and at the IFMB conferences or wherever across the world we can meet. And let's hope for a better year than 2020. Thank you all, and enjoy CE Global Day.
Thank you, Mohamed. Great to spend some time with you today.
Thank you, Tom. Thanks, Kelleroy.
Bye for now.